Okay, so we are recording, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain a little bit about Rocketjudge and then kind of show you what we are working with. So we've been in business for, I think, 7 years, kind of 5 years more intensely. We've been working with regional science fairs in our home state of Georgia for 4 years, and then we've been running the scoring at the state level Science and Engineering Fair here in Georgia for 3 years, including this past March, where as you guys are familiar with, you know, we had to kind of pivot really quickly and switch to virtual. The director, Laura Brewer, is such a rock star. She did such a good job. What she ended up deciding to do was to use our platform for judges to, you know, take 2 weeks and evaluate student materials. So students recorded videos of themselves presenting their work, and then submitted, like, I think she connected like a project abstract, I think form 1C and form, what's the other big one? Form 1C and form 7. So the judges could kind of look over those, you know, submit their scores, over a kind of more leisurely period of time than the in-person event, which normally goes over 1 day. So here at Rocketjudge, we can do, you know, kind of asynchronous events, you know, where judges can log in and, or I'm sorry, judges can see their assigned competitors and have a couple days to review those things. And then we're also now launching live video interviews for competitors and judges. And this is what we'll be doing for the Houston Fair. I think we're also going to be working with Austin, and we're working with a lot of different science fairs across the United States now, really trying to help with, you know, how do we still provide a science fair experience in a global pandemic, right? So with that, I'm going to show you kind of what the judge experience is like, and then kind of go a little bit into what the competitor experience is like, and then kind of field questions from there. I will say also traditionally we've worked mostly with regional science fairs. Most district schools, you know, don't really have the need for something as powerful as Rocketjudge. But now, you know, with the pandemic, a lot of things are different. So we would love to support your, you know, district level fairs also, which is part of why we're here. So one of the foundational things about Rocketjudge is we believe that software should be easy to use. Nobody has time to learn how to use a brand new software program. You know, it needs to be easy for you to set up, it needs to be easy for the judges to use, and it needs to be easy for the competitors to use. And that's sort of been like a long-standing pillar of our business. So, you know, you as the organizer would kind of add in your judges and add in your competitors. And then on the morning of your event, your judges get sent an email, and the email says, hey, thanks for being a judge. Here is your secure link. And I can show you what that email looks like right here. The email, it, like almost everything in our system, is highly customizable. So if we look here, it says, hey, thanks for being a judge. Please click the open ballot link below. So now if they do click that link, so every judge has their own secure link. And when they open that, they see their ballot. So the first thing that pops up is this little tutorial, you know, how to use Rocketjudge. Tap on the competitor's name, use the sliders, and scores are saved automatically. So if I click, let's do this. First thing here, so I can see on the right-hand side my list of competitors to evaluate along with their time slots here. So if this was a live interview, you know, these time slots could help me, you know, pace myself as a judge. The other things to note here are, you know, at the top right-hand side, you know, ends in 2 hours and 5 minutes. So judges have a way to track their own time there. And then on the top left is the judge's name, the name of the competition, and then ballot is right now 0% complete. So first I will go ahead and click on my first competitor, Sally. So if I'm looking at Sally, The first thing here is the rubric. So this is just a demo event. So your rubric can be, you know, whatever you currently use. This is just a placeholder for this, you know, dummy event. So first I want to show you this content. This is kind of our basic option, is just a number. You can also add a little bit of text here and still use a number. With visuals here, we see I put in like tooltips, I think is how I would call them. So you can add different things based on what your, you know, organization's rubric is. And then I think this last one is kind of more qualitative. So you can use your existing rubric. There's no reason to give up what you have been using, you know, for years. Often we recommend that people slim their rubrics down if you have like 30 criteria, you know, but you can have as many criteria here as you want. What I'd like to draw your attention to next is underneath my name, the judge's name, it now says ballot is 25% complete. So I have, you know, completed the scores for one of my 4 competitors. So there's a place here where judges can write comments. So here, comments. So after the competition is over, there's a button where you can click send competitor feedback reports. These reports are customizable. You can send the scores only, the comments only, or send both. They are automatically anonymized in our system, and they get sent to an email address, you know, for that competitor. Most of our K-12 clients choose to send it to the teacher rather than to the student because sometimes judges are mean. So that is an option. Of course, it is optional. You know, you don't have to send the feedback to the students if you don't want to. And the comments are also available for export if you wanted to kind of just look at them on your own. So the next thing I want to draw your attention to, so I'm still looking at Sally Ride, competitor 11. And one thing also I should notice is, you know, Sally Ride, this here is also customizable. So you can have it be the student's name. You could have it be, you know, if it's a team of students, you could have it be all of the students' names. You could also have it be, you know, the name of their project, or, you know, if they have a team name, you don't have to have the competitor's name there. But if we come over here, we see all of Sally's stuff. So we have some text here. We have a YouTube video embedded. We can do YouTube videos, Vimeo. I think there's something called Nearpod that we just enabled. Lots of different options here. And then we can also do links. So we can do links to PDFs. We can do links to websites. So if there's other stuff that your students have that you want your judges to see, you know, the ones we talked about were abstract, project summary, Form 1C and Form 7, you know, those can be right here where everything is in one place, you know, for your judges to evaluate. Okay, so we've kind of gone through the basics of this page. Let's talk about the live interview part. So if I'm a judge, the first thing I'm going to do is preview my camera. So down here, my camera is now on. Here's me as a judge. I can turn off my video and turn off my mic. You know, kind of basic for, you know, most video platforms. And then I can click join video interview room. And with one click, I am now in Sally Ride's video room. So if there are other judges, they show up in this dark gray box. And the competitor, or, you know, the team of competitors shows up in this light gray box up here. Students are also able to share their screens if they need to, although we do recommend, you know, that maybe one of these files down here is, you know, the project template. And I think for Texas, y'all are preparing some sort of template that students have to submit through Scienteer. So that would be something that we would link here, most likely. So we're in this live video room. We can leave this room and then immediately join this judges only deliberation room. Now, Sally does not have access to this room. This is just for judges to kind of have a moment where they can chat and talk about, like, oh, what did you think of Sally? You know, I thought her project did well in X, but was lacking in Y. There's also a place here where judges can all take notes. And this is sort of like a shared Google Doc type feature, where all of the judges can type and edit text in this box. You know, you can create tables, put in pictures, whatever. Sally does not have access to this box. This is only for judges. If you wanted to share text in this box with a competitor, you would have to go through kind of step, like very, very manually to share this with the competitor, as opposed to the comments over here that can be auto sent to the competitor. So let's put, what is something we can put in this box? Okay, so we finish up Sally's interview, we leave the deliberation room, and with one click, we go to our next competitor, Grace Hopper, number 32. We have the same rubric again, and you know, we have different stuff here for her. I think I only put one link here, not a video. But with one click, I am now in Grace Hopper's video room. So every competitor in our system has their own video interview room and their own like private judges room kind of attached to them. So there is no way for students to enter the wrong room because they only get the link to their room. So just to make this demo more interesting, I'm going to go through and add more scores here. Ballot is now at 50% complete. You know, I can navigate between all these different rooms really easily. And maybe for some of you, this is, you know, the end of your event. Like you just want these final scores for these teams. But we have built out more features, including additional breakout rooms. So if we click up here, View Awards Deliberation, this is something that judges can click at any time during the competition. So here we see, so this link and this kind of space in the judge experience is designed to help with, you know, judge deliberation. So after your event is over, you know, maybe you don't just take the top scoring team, maybe you want the judges to have a more in-depth discussion of them. So here, you know, judges can join, or can, first let's talk about this. This is our results table. So we can see here, you know, total points, average points, different criteria, and notably also, we can also see all of the competitor stuff from that previous page. So we have the text, we have the video, we have the links, we have feedback, comments, and then we also have that collaborative notes section here. So what you could use this for, and kind of the use case that we envision, is you're a judge, your interview part is now over, and you can go to these different meeting rooms. So I only put 3 breakout rooms in here, this general one and breakout room 1 and breakout room 2. You know, this is also something that's customizable. You know, you don't have to have a room called general meeting room. This can be, you know, room 1, room 2, or maybe you have, you know, animal science, biochemistry, microbiology, or animal science junior, animal science senior. You know, this is something where you can have, you know, a million breakout rooms here. You might have noticed that my camera here at the lower right turned on because this is a live interview room for judges to chat. Each video room has its own whiteboard here, so kind of just like the competitors have attached to them. This is a separate whiteboard, and each breakout room, you know, has its own whiteboard here. So what we're hoping is that, you know, so breakout room 2 is maybe animal sciences junior. So you can come down here as a judge. So your video is on, you're in this room, you're having a chat. You can look down here and, you know, filter this table for animal science. And then you can see the scores, but you can also see, you know, all those competitor materials. And what we're hoping is that this would be something that your judges could use to have a really fruitful discussion of, you know, what teams should really win the top prizes at these competitions. And then, you know, kind of what we also envisioned was this space, this whiteboard here is a place where judges can, you know, have their notes and, you know, has more points, but Valentina did a job. So you can have a place where judges can take those notes. They can even do, you know, and then you as the organizer can see this, like see these kind of notes pages here. Okay, so that is the extent of the judge experience I want to show you. I think I've covered everything here that I wanted to share. So I think the next thing, I kind of want to keep this moving and kind of keep all of my content together so that we can say, maybe we'll save questions for the end. So the other things I want to show you are, let's see, so we looked at this already. This is the email that goes to the judges that says, hey, here's your secure link to your ballot. And see, you can see there's also a direct link to that deliberation room. Similarly, the students get an email, kind of looks like this, that says, hey, team name, you've registered as a competitor for this event. Your event is scheduled for this time on this date. This email is also customizable, but if you are going to do live video, we do recommend putting the time slot in there. The other things I think I want to discuss are, you know, how we get, how do we set up an event? So I think for a lot of you, you're using Scienteer, which is great. I think we're talking with the folks at Scienteer to make it really easy for, you know, the student material to kind of be automatically sent to Rocketjudge, like to your account in Rocketjudge. But if you were not doing that, you know, this is what the internal kind of back end looks like for you, the organizer. So this is the dashboard. We're just kind of we're going to go through kind of tab by tab. So there's a couple places on this page where you can monitor your event progress. So here you have ballots scored versus event time elapsed. You have your judges who are checked in and participating, your progress on the scores coming in, and judging start and end time. The next thing I want to do, so we talked a little bit just briefly about competitors. So you can, we're hopefully going to work something out with Scienteer to make everything kind of float in really nicely. If you weren't using Scienteer, most of our clients use a spreadsheet. It's just a template that we have that you can use to upload your competitors. And kind of similar for the judges, it's just another very simple spreadsheet to upload. Our platform can automatically match judges to projects based on, you know, what category they're in. So, you know, if you want your local, I don't know, if you guys are in Texas, maybe like your local chemical engineers at Chevron and Exxon, you know, maybe they should be matched to the chemistry projects or to the engineering projects. And that's a group that you could add that would match your judges to your competitors. Groups kind of work as tags in this category. I just have two here, but you can imagine, you know, you can have as many groups as you need. And that is just added very simply, you know, one by one. Same with criteria. This won't let me adjust the criteria right now, but it is, you know, a very similar page to groups. Let's see, what else should we talk about? The schedule is also very similar. You can, you know, add sessions. These sessions really work more like sticky notes as reminders to judges of, hey, this is the time slot for this competitor. As you can see, you know, this is from a couple days ago. This is not something that constrains the time window that those video rooms can be open. So the last thing I want to talk about is, or I guess these two sections here is, so awards. This really should be labeled breakout rooms. This is the place where what we call awards is really our awards deliberation rooms. So here you can add rooms very easily. And then the last thing is results. So here you can, so this is our results table. We kind of already saw this in the previous, in the judge view, but what's nice about this is that you can filter by your groups. So if you had, you know, first, second, third place animal sciences and 2 honorable mentions, and you needed to filter like 100 projects, you know, it's really easy to do that in our system. Here you can also export these scores. You can also view the raw scores and export those. So if there was other math that you wanted to see, you can do that in Excel just kind of on your own. I think that is all I had, like kind of the big things I wanted to discuss with y'all. So I think with that, I'm gonna open the floor to questions. I wonder if the best way to do questions is using the chat feature in here, just because there's so many of you. So, okay, there's a question about pricing. That is a great question. So our pricing is on our website. We try and keep it around or below $5 per project. So not per, so if you have competitors or like multiple students on a team, it's not per student on the team, it's per project. I think for a lot of your fairs, you know, you probably fall in the pricing that's on our website. If you go to rocketjudge.com/pricing, there is pricing information there. The video feature is an add-on from that pricing. Actually, I'm just gonna put this. The video feature is an add-on, but I sort of imagine that for a lot of your fairs, it's gonna be really affordable, depending on the size.
No. Can you shut the door?
Are there any other questions at this point? Karen Jacobs asked, do we offer training with the purchase? Yes, absolutely. We tend to work pretty closely with our science fairs. That's something that's important. I mean, our business is based on your event being, you know, less, I don't want to say stress-free, because I know science fairs have a lot more pieces than just the judging and the registration, but, you know, it is incredibly important to us that, that your event goes well and that you feel comfortable with the platform. There's another question from Catherine Harris about students submitting directly on this platform and what is required to be uploaded by the students. So let me share another screen. So this is sort of something that I wonder if Andrew can speak to a little bit. So we offer, you know, so what I'm hoping is that we will be able to get most of the information from Scienteer. If there is other content that is not collected by Scienteer, we're going to have to collect that separately using a registration form that's integrated with our platform. So what I'm hoping is that Scienteer is going to, you know, build some stuff for us, but
yeah. So can I jump in?
Please,
Laura?
please.
Yeah.
Do.
So our current plan, and as Laura says, right, some of this is pending whether or not there's changes to Scienteer that would streamline this. Right now, I'm not assuming that those are going to happen. So our current plan is to ask, so we probably will not have you or your students interact directly on Rocketjudge to upload anything. We will either ask you to upload things through Scienteer if that is available, or there will be an option through the SEFH portal, which is, if we're part of the judging process last year, you're probably more familiar with it because it's where we did judge registration, it's where we do the special awards registration, all of those sorts of things that we've needed to do that have fallen outside of Scienteer. What we will do is create a form that students and teachers can access to upload things that are not available to upload on Scienteer. So basically, that's things like, the actual project board, right? Because you're gonna have to create a PDF of the project itself, and typically Scienteer wouldn't capture that. That you would then enter into the portal at U of H or at SEFH, and we would then transfer that information to Scienteer, or I'm sorry, to Rocketjudge prior to the beginning of the display and safety process. And like I said, I can talk through, I mean, if we have time now, I can talk through it a little bit more detail, or we can talk about this at the beginning of the next panel too.
Sounds good. Let's see, let me go back to the chat. Let me see. And if the form I was just showing you was for some of our other science fairs. I don't think we'll be doing this for Houston because you guys have your own portal. For some of our other clients, we we have a registration system that you can use. I think having too many registration systems can get kind of confusing. But if it was something that you needed for your fair, that's something that we welcome you to ask us about. I'm curious if, I wonder if I unmute y'all, if there's features or if there's things here that you think that we're missing, that you would want to see, that maybe aren't covered here. I've unmuted you all, I think. So if you have any thoughts, we would love to hear that too, because we do have some time still.
I think it looks really good. The interest, we have a much smaller fair, would be whether, for such a small fair, we pay the fee and kind of streamline it for our fair coordinator, or if we just manually do it ourselves because it's a smaller fair. Or if I had a bigger fair, then of course we would,
Right.
This looks really nice.
Thank you, Arden.
I had a question regarding the number. Is there a limit to the number of projects that Rocketjudge can handle?
No, we've been in business for a long time. So, as we've grown, we've really had to up our server space. At any point we're running, half a dozen competitions around the globe. We're running one in Denmark right now that I think has over 800 entries. Most of the competitions we work with tend to be smaller, like 50 to 100.
Oh, okay. Ours is easily over 1,500. That's why I was asking.
How exciting. That's a lot.
Exactly.
I was about to say, I think, Arden, I wonder, you said your fair is small, but I feel like everything's bigger in Texas. So small to us is like 15 projects.
No, nowhere near 1,500.
Okay.
Even a little bit.
So something else that we've kind of been talking about with the Houston folks is, we can offer price breaks for y'all if, depending on your event size, depending on how many of you come aboard, we're happy to offer bigger discounts as we kind of get more volume. So if pricing is a big issue, then I encourage you to talk to me about that, because that's something that, we'd love to support your fair. And frankly, if we're priced out of the people we want to serve, then that's not really in line with our goals for our business, frankly. So. Do all of you use Scienteer for your district level affairs? I think Scienteer is like all the way down, but I'm not as familiar with Scienteer. I see a yes from Sophia. Okay, cool. Yeah, it seems like a great platform. I've met, it's Russell Cohen, right? He seems great. I've met him a couple times as I've been working with the Austin Fair. Something else that's interesting is at this point, I feel like I've done demos for science fairs in, more than half the states in the US at this point, as everybody is trying to figure out, what to do and how to move forward. And it's really interesting to see, I sort of thought that the science fairs would all be kind of similar, but it's really interesting to, at least for me, to see just how different the fairs can be in structure. I think Houston is doing multiple rounds, some asynchronous, some live, and I'm sure Andrew will talk about that in the next session in more detail. The Austin Science Fair is doing like 9 days of live interviews, kind of broken up by category. And, we have some here in Georgia that are doing only asynchronous, like only judges evaluating projects. There's a ton of different options here. One thing I didn't really talk about is kind of using different video platforms. So, I think what is a highlight about our platform is that it's hard for judges to get lost. All of the video rooms are right there, from them to go from interviewing the competitor to deliberating to next interview, next deliberation, and then kind of group deliberations. But you can also, like if there's a different platform for video that you wanted to use for the student interviews, in the before times, we mostly did in-person science fairs, the scoring and like competitor feedback and stuff. So if and now with this pandemic, we've worked with clients who use a different platform for live video and then use Rocketjudge alongside to provide that rubric, the scores, the comments, and access to student materials. So if you wanted to use Zoom or BlueJeans or WebEx, or I feel like there's a zillion video platforms now. So if there's like a preferred option for your district where you didn't want to use our video, Rocketjudge might still be useful for you in terms of getting scores. And kind of, I think, especially for the deliberation heavy events and competitions, the scores can often be helpful so that you're not deliberating, 50 or 100 projects. You really only need to discuss the top 10. So score, I do think that, it's great to rely on your judge's expertise and really to make the most of that is to make sure they don't spend time talking about projects they don't need to. So. Do most of y'all do heavy judge deliberation? Like on a, maybe if you could throw in the chat on a scale of 1 is no deliberation, scores only to get winners, to 10 is deliberation. Because I thought that science fairs were definitely more, scores based, but I think a lot of y'all do consensus judging or caucus judging or, heavy deliberation. I'd be interested to see kind of what the spread is on that.
Laura, hi. Our district is large. We're the ones that have the 1,500 projects. And yes, we do consensus judging.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Do you and Sophia work together?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. 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 Yeah, I was about to say with 1,500 projects, that's nothing to sneeze at. You always manage big events. Okay, yeah, low deliberation until top projects are selected. Yeah, I think that's sort of what we're doing, something kind of similar with the Houston Fair, is live interviews for the top projects. So there was a question on organizers assigning judge to categories. Yes, so I guess I could spend a little bit of time talking about that. So if we go to kind of the organizer view, so you can use our system to do automatic assignments, or you can do manual assignments. And I think, Andrew, you're planning on manual assignments.
Yes.
Yeah, so so I'm in the judges tab now, and if I click on a judge's name, so if I click me, I can edit very easily my assigned competitors. So it's just this edit button, and I can, remove assignments here. And what's nice about this is that I can filter. So if I wanted to do manual assignments but still see the groups, I can say, okay, Laura should see aerospace engineering. Oh, look at, she's supposed to have all the aerospace projects assigned to her, but we forgot Valentina. So with one button, we can click to add that assignment. And then if you are changing the judges' assignments like during the event, the judges get a little notification that says, I wonder if it's popped up, if I can show you guys. No, not yet. There's a little notification that pops up that says, hi, thanks for being a judge. Your assignments have changed, click OK to accept. And the fun part about that is even if they say no, thank you, they still have to accept the new, they still get assigned the new project. The illusion of choice. So one thing here also that I wanted to highlight is there's also this exclude button. So if you had, conflicts of interest, or, hey, that's their nephew or their niece, you can exclude certain projects from competitors, so that way there's no way for them to get assigned to that student. So this is something that can be very manual, or it's something that can be, kind of more hands-off depending on your event structure. Let's see. You can also, I guess I should also show you can also edit assign judges here on the competitor side. So lots of different things you can do here. So, okay. There's a question on how do the interview sessions work. That's a great question. Let me go back to sharing that screen for y'all. Oh, look, it's here it is. Your assignments have been updated. Click OK to refresh now or cancel. Yeah, so the assignments will show up whether they like it or not. So it's like kind of funny. So now it's only these two. Oh, no, keep voting. So here, so these, I think what your question is about these time slots. And like, are people going to get booted from their interview rooms, if they go over time, or if they, aren't in their proper time slot. And kind of like I said before, these time slots are more like text labels or sticky notes, this is not today's date, right? So I can still get in this room and, do this interview even outside of this time slot. So we don't really have a mechanism for, closing the rooms based on time. One thing that we've been talking about with a lot of our clients is kind of on a related but separate note is minors' privacy and making sure that we're compliant with COPA and really trying to protect the student. So one thing that I think we will enable you to set as an organizer is these interview rooms for the students won't be active unless there are a minimum of 2 judges present. So that way you won't have minors alone with adults in virtual rooms. So the short answer to, I think that was the long answer to your question, Cindy, about the time limit, but the time limit is essentially a recommendation with no teeth. Are there any other questions? I think we're done a little bit earlier than anticipated, which is fine. We all have things to do. I think you guys are probably kind of in halfway through the boot camp, maybe. Hopefully more than halfway. It's like, oh, actually, it's earlier for you. I'm in Eastern time, so I guess you are maybe closer to halfway through than later. But anyways, okay. Well, thank you guys very much for your time. Andrew, was there anything that I missed that you thought I should add?
No. I mean, I think, like I said, I think there's things to discuss. I'm happy to stick around here if people have people that aren't going to be able to make it to the next panel. You know, where we'll talk a little bit more about the logistics. I'm happy to stick around here and answer questions. Otherwise, we'll see you at, I guess it's 1:50. So about 15 minutes from now. I think that's back in one of the main meeting rooms. It should be on your schedule for the Judging Matters panel. And that'll be a split of me talking a little bit about the logistics and then the hearing from some of our category coordinators and from myself on just, you know, what goes into a good project in general.
Okay. Well, with that, I put my email in the chat. I'm going to head out. Andrew, I will not end this call, but I will make you the host, you know, if...
Sure. Yeah, that works.
That sound like I think I can do that.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes, or people can feel free to drift away, and we'll catch up with you at the next panel.
That sounds great. Okay, thank you guys, everybody, or thank you for your time. Hopefully talk to you soon. All right, take care.